Seniors, listen up. There are 7 everyday foods you should never put in the refrigerator, and here's why. Could your fridge be silently harming your health without you even knowing it? It sounds unbelievable, but the truth is that some of the most common foods react poorly to cold storage. And this goes way beyond flavor or texture. We're talking about chemical changes, nutrient loss, and even bacterial growth that can affect your gut, heart, and brain. Here's the shocking part, over 99% of people over 60 still refrigerate these foods daily, unaware of the hidden risks. Some experts now suggest that our modern obsession with refrigeration could even be fueling chronic illnesses. But don't worry, today we're uncovering the real science. In this video, you'll discover the 7 foods you should never refrigerate, along with the safest ways to store them. And wait until you hear number 2 on the list, it might surprise you the most. Before we dive in, let us know in the comments where you're watching from, your age, and whether you've noticed changes in taste or texture when refrigerating certain foods. We're replying to every comment with personalized tips. And of course, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more senior health insights. Now, let's get started. Number 7, bread. This one surprises almost everyone. Your refrigerator is actually making your bread go stale faster. It sounds backwards, but the science is crystal clear. Cold temperatures speed up a process called starch retrogradation. That's when starch molecules crystallize and squeeze out moisture. Researchers at the Institute of Food Technologists found that bread stored in the fridge turns stale up to 6 times faster than bread kept at room temperature. 6 times. In just 3 days, refrigerated bread becomes hard and crumbly, while room temperature bread stays soft and fresh for a full week. And it's not just texture. The fridge destroys bread's natural flavor compounds, the same volatile molecules that give fresh bread that amazing smell. That's why cold bread tastes like cardboard. So, what's the right way to store bread? Keep it at room temperature in a bread box or paper bag. The container should allow just enough airflow to prevent mold but still hold a little humidity to keep the loaf soft. And here's the pro tip, if you can't finish a loaf within a week, don't refrigerate it, freeze it. Slice it first, then freeze it right away. Freezing preserves bread better than refrigeration because it locks everything in before ice crystals can damage the structure. When you're ready to eat, pop the frozen slices directly into the toaster. They'll taste almost as good as fresh. Just remember, never let them thaw first, because that's when moisture problems start. Number 6, potatoes. Here's something that may shock you, putting potatoes in the refrigerator can actually make them toxic. And I'm not exaggerating. Cold temperatures trigger a reaction called cold-induced sweetening, where the potatoes' starches turn into sugars. Now here's the real danger. When you cook those refrigerated potatoes at high heat, those excess sugars combine with amino acids to form acrylamide. The International Agency for Research on Cancer classifies acrylamide as a probable human carcinogen. In fact, a University of Idaho study found that potatoes stored in the fridge showed a 300% increase in sugar content in just 2 weeks. That's triple the sugar, and it happens in every variety tested. And the problem doesn't stop there. The cold also breaks down the potato's cell structure, leaving you with a gritty texture and an unpleasantly sweet taste. Ever wonder why your mashed potatoes sometimes taste off? Now you know, the fridge is literally damaging them at the cellular level. So, how do you store potatoes safely? Keep them in a cool, dark place at about 45 to 50 degrees Fahrenheit. A pantry, cellar, or even a cardboard box in a closet works perfectly. Just remember, keep them away from light, because light triggers the production of solanine, the green toxin you sometimes see on potato skins. Store them in paper bags or baskets for airflow, never plastic, which traps moisture and causes rot. And here's a pro tip, never store potatoes near onions. Both release gases that make the other spoil faster, so keep them at least 3 feet apart. With proper storage, potatoes can last up to 3 months. But in the fridge, they'll be ruined in just 2 weeks. Now we've reached the most shocking example, the one nobody expects. But if you're still watching, that means you love discovering these hidden truths. So don't forget to subscribe, you won't want to miss what's coming next. Number 5, garlic. Garlic in the fridge? That's a disaster waiting to happen. Not only does it lose its strength, it can actually become dangerous. Here's why this matters, especially for seniors who rely on garlic for its powerful health benefits. In the refrigerator, garlic quickly starts to sprout. Those green shoots aren't just ugly, they're bitter and can upset your stomach. But the real danger? Moisture in the fridge creates the perfect breeding ground for mold. Some molds on garlic produce mycotoxins, toxic compounds that you definitely don't want in your body. And the science is clear. Researchers at the University of California, Davis, found that refrigerated garlic loses 50% of its allicin content within just 10 days. Allicin is garlic's magic compound. It's antibacterial, antiviral, and protects your heart. Refrigerating it literally cuts those benefits in half. The texture changes, too. Cold breaks down the garlic's cell walls, turning cloves soft and mushy. Try chopping refrigerated garlic, it turns into a sticky paste instead of those clean little pieces. So what should you do? Store garlic in a cool, dry place with airflow, like a mesh bag or basket. The sweet spot is 60 to 65 degrees Fahrenheit. Never use plastic or sealed containers, garlic needs to breathe. Keep it away from sunlight and the stove's heat. Stored properly, a whole garlic bulb can last up to 6 months. Once you break it apart, use the cloves within 10 days. And here's a pro tip, garlic kept at room temperature actually tastes better. Its essential oils stay fluid, so when you cook, the flavor explodes out of the clove instead of being trapped. Your dishes will be richer, sharper, and more aromatic. So remember, the fridge doesn't protect garlic, it destroys it. Number 4, bananas. Bananas and refrigerators are a recipe for disaster. Place a banana in the fridge and it quickly turns black and mushy. But the real problem goes beyond its appearance. Cold temperatures trigger what scientists call chilling injury. Since bananas are tropical fruits, they never evolved to withstand cold. Their cells can't cope with it, membranes rupture, enzymes leak, and the fruit starts to break down from within. Research from the Queensland Department of Agriculture shows that bananas stored below 56 degrees Fahrenheit lose up to 80% of their vitamin C in just 5 days, and they also stop producing new nutrients. Normally, bananas keep generating beneficial compounds as they ripen, but refrigeration shuts this process down entirely. The darkened skin isn't just unattractive, it signals that the fruit's natural defenses have collapsed. Brown spots are areas of dead tissue, which can become breeding grounds for bacteria and mold, even if invisible at first. To preserve bananas, keep them at room temperature, ideally between 56 degrees Fahrenheit and 70 degrees Fahrenheit, and hang them on a hook to avoid bruising. Bananas release ethylene gas, which must circulate freely to ensure proper ripening. Here's a little-known trick, you can control their ripening speed. To accelerate it, place bananas in a paper bag with an apple. To slow it down, separate them and wrap each stem with plastic wrap, cutting ethylene release by up to 40%. Once they've reached your preferred ripeness, you can refrigerate them briefly, no more than 1 or 2 days. The peel will darken, but the inside remains edible. An even better option is to peel and freeze them. Frozen bananas not only keep longer but also make superior smoothies, giving them a creamy texture without the need for ice. Number 3, onions. Storing onions in the refrigerator is one of the biggest mistakes people make. The damage begins instantly and cannot be undone. Here's why, refrigerators usually maintain about 95% humidity, while onions require no more than 65%. This excess moisture seeps into their papery skin, creating the perfect breeding ground for mold. Black mold on onions can produce aflatoxins, among the most carcinogenic compounds identified by science. But problems start even before mold shows up. Cold temperatures convert onion starches into sugars. According to research from Texas University, onions kept in the fridge can experience a 270% sugar increase in just 2 weeks. This not only alters their flavor but also ruins their cooking qualities. Your French onion soup may end up tasting sweet instead of savory. The texture also suffers. Ice crystals rupture the onion cells, leaving it soft and mushy. Once this happens, the onion loses its ability to caramelize into those golden brown perfection layers you see in restaurants. Refrigerated onions simply can't deliver that. The best way to store whole onions is in a cool, dry, and well-ventilated place like a pantry or cellar, ideally between 45 degrees Fahrenheit and 55 degrees Fahrenheit. Never use plastic bags. Onions need airflow. Mesh bags, baskets, or even pantyhose are much better. Keep them away from potatoes, since the gases they release accelerate spoilage, and out of direct sunlight, which triggers sprouting. Cut onions, however, are a different story. Once sliced, they should be stored in the refrigerator in a sealed container and eaten within a week. The exposed surface is vulnerable to bacteria, making refrigeration essential at that point. But for whole onions, the fridge should never be an option. Number 2, tomatoes. And now we come to the food that surprises people the most, tomatoes. The truth about refrigerating them is so shocking that many refuse to accept it, but science is clear. Researchers at the University of Florida discovered that refrigeration doesn't just ruin a tomato's taste and texture. It actually switches off the genes responsible for creating flavor compounds. Once silenced, these genes never fully reactivate. Even after the tomato warms back to room temperature, the damage is permanent. In fact, the study analyzed over 25,000 tomato genes and found that temperatures below 54 degrees Fahrenheit deactivate hundreds of them. At the genetic level, the fruit essentially stops being a tomato. What's left is nothing more than a red, watery balloon stripped of nutrition. This becomes especially concerning for seniors, because tomatoes are one of the richest sources of lycopene, a powerful antioxidant that protects the heart and helps defend against certain cancers. Cold storage reduces lycopene availability by up to 65%. Worse yet, lycopene requires specific enzymes for absorption, enzymes that refrigeration destroys completely. That means even the little that remains becomes useless. The structural damage is visible under a microscope. Ice crystals form between cell walls, puncturing them and shredding the fruit from the inside. This explains why refrigerated tomatoes turn mealy and grainy. For proper storage, tomatoes should be kept at room temperature, stem side down. This reduces moisture entering through the stem scar and blocks bacteria. The best range is between 55 degrees Fahrenheit and 70 degrees Fahrenheit. They should stay out of direct sunlight, but not in total darkness either. Indirect light helps preserve nutrients. Avoid plastic bags at all costs, since tomatoes release ethylene gas that needs to escape. If trapped, this gas accelerates spoilage, and just one rotten tomato can ruin an entire batch within 24 hours. Use ripe tomatoes within 3 to 5 days. If you have too many, the best option is to cook them into sauce and freeze it. Interestingly, cooked tomato products actually contain more bioavailable lycopene than raw ones, and freezing preserves this nutrient perfectly. Number 1, avocados. We've saved the most important for last, avocados. What happens to them in the refrigerator is nothing short of tragic. The damage is so severe that it makes other refrigerated foods seem like minor problems in comparison. Avocados are nutrient powerhouses, containing more than 20 essential vitamins and minerals. They're also one of the few fruits rich in healthy fats, particularly oleic acid, which plays a vital role in supporting brain health for seniors. But refrigeration destroys these fats through a process called lipid peroxidation. Cold temperatures accelerate fat oxidation, creating harmful free radicals instead of nourishing compounds. Research from Stanford University found that refrigerated avocados lose up to 90% of their antioxidant power in just 4 days. That means vitamins E and C, two of the most important defenses against inflammation, vision decline, and poor nutrient absorption, are almost completely wiped out. Even worse, refrigeration doesn't just halt ripening, it triggers an enzyme called polyphenol oxidase, the same one responsible for browning. In the cold, this enzyme goes into overdrive, tearing apart cell walls and converting beneficial compounds into bitter, sometimes harmful substances. The texture damage is permanent, creamy flesh turns stringy and watery, with fat separating from fibers into an unappealing oily mess. Try making guacamole from refrigerated avocados, and you'll be disappointed before you begin. The best way to store them is at room temperature, ideally between 65 degrees Fahrenheit and 75 degrees Fahrenheit, in an open bowl with good airflow. To speed ripening, place them in a paper bag with a banana. Its ethylene gas can cut ripening time in half. Once ripe, avocados can be placed in the fridge for no more than 2 to 3 days, though the quality still declines. A smarter approach is to buy avocados at different ripening stages so you always have one ready to eat. For cut avocados, the trick is to leave the pit in the unused half, brush the flesh with lemon juice, and store it in an airtight container with a piece of onion. The onion's sulfur compounds prevent browning without altering taste, keeping the fruit fresh for up to 2 days at room temperature. The difference between a properly stored avocado and one that's been refrigerated is dramatic. With proper storage, you preserve the brain-boosting fats, the smooth texture, and the age-fighting nutrients your body needs. After all, the truth about refrigeration, and the hidden damage it causes, has been ignored for far too long. These 7 foods don't just represent wasted groceries. They add up to thousands of dollars lost and untold amounts of nutrition thrown away. But even more importantly, they represent missed chances to protect your health as you age. Every nutrient matters when it comes to slowing down aging, keeping your mind sharp, and staying strong. Don't let your refrigerator undo all your efforts. Store these foods the right way and unlock their full nutritional potential. Your body deserves nothing less. Now, we'd love to hear from you. Which of these foods surprised you the most? Have you been refrigerating it for years without realizing the damage? Share your thoughts and experiences in the comments, we can't wait to read them. Thanks for watching.